So for this demonstration we're going to first of all start out with our reference panes. I'm going to convert these over to be image editors, and I'm just going to drag in my reference material. I've got some reference material of some chess pieces. I'm going to model the castle on the elephant, and the elephant's on a little stand as well. I'm going to use this as a part of a competition. First I'll get rid of the cube, and we'll start by adding some new geometry. So I'm going to add a plane, and then I'm going to go into edit mode, just put wireframe on first, select 3 of the vertexes. I'm just going to delete those vertices, select the other vertex, hold down Control, that'll enable quick snapping. So I'm going to snap it to the center, as you can see. I'm going to go into a front view, and I'm going to use Control and right mouse click to lay out the profile shape that I want. Just going to sketch out using the Control click method. I'm just using my eye to really guide where I need to put these points. I think I'm actually going to change this so that I can actually have the gaps between the points. So the first thing I want to do is scale in Z and 0, and I'll do this on everything that I want to remain flat. I'm going to do this on these, so S, Z, 0, and the top one's S, Z, 0. I just move these vertices in, so I'm just going to use G and the X key just to slide it along. And then I'm going to add, I'm going to make sure these snap properly, so I'm going to use, I'm going to turn on the absolute grid snapping, and then I can use Control and it will snap to the grid. I use Control R just to add another point, maybe a couple of points. And I'm going to use that to just put a bit of an indentation underneath. I'm not sure whether I need it at the moment, but don't just have a flat bottom. It gives me something to work with if I need to bevel it. Okay, so now we're ready to use the spin tool. So we'll click the spin tool, and then we'll drag that out. Now just type in the number that we want. So we want 360 degrees, and we want to use 16 steps. This will just give us a better number. Okay, and then I'm going to select off it. Next I'm going to go into face mode. I'm going to delete the faces between the gaps. So I'm just selecting face mode. I'm going to use Control and click to select the patch between the two sides. I think I've selected too many there, so I'll just deselect, and then I'll get a pattern formed. I'll just speed this up. So you use Shift and Control just to create that little pattern, and then I can press delete and delete those faces. Now I'm going to use the F key between the two edges. The F key only does it on the single, so I'm actually going to use the bridge tool. So I'm going to bridge the edge loops, and I'm going to set the connected loops, just using the bridge tool. Set the connected loops from open loop down to loop pairs. Let's just fill those in. Next I'm just going to use the F tool on the looped selection. Doesn't work on the bridge pairs, so I'm just going to use F instead, just do them singularly, just F. I'm just going to spin round really quick. So just F, F, and away we go, nice and quick. Just make sure we get them all. I could have probably done this a lot easier with an extrude, but you only sort of realise these things as you're working through them. And then next I just need to tidy up that geometry so the topology is right, so I'm going to go into vertex mode, and I'm just going to join those with a J. Just selecting each one and J just to go across. So I'll go into wireframe mode, and then I can just make that a lot easier, so just J, J, J all the way around. Making sure you get the selections. There we go. And that's job done. Okay, so I'm just going to shade smooth, and I'm going to go down, turn on the auto smooth under normals. And that's not looking too bad. Might just tweak the settings at some point, but it's not looking too bad at the moment. Now what I want to do is I want to bring some reference imagery in, because I'm going to be making the bottom part of the actual elephant's so we'll bring in some reference material. So we need to go to a front view. We're actually in a side view there. So I'm going to drop this in, and I think I need to, there we go, drop it in. I'm going to have to spin this round, I think, because I'm actually in the wrong view. So I'll just open up the image plane settings, do a bit of scaling. I'm just going to use the G key just to move it into place. This is me working out I'm on the wrong axis. So we'll select this and just rotate that around. It's not actually that one, that is the one that brings it up. So I actually want that one to be 90 degrees, and it's actually this one that needs to be 90 degrees as well. 180 degrees, sorry. Now we can move that into position. Make sure it's on the right side for the front view. I'm also going to turn on the transparency so that I can see through it as well, make it a little bit easier to see. Just moving that into position. Eyeballing it up so it's central. Then select the empty, go down to the image properties, and just turn on transparency, and we can just drop the opacity down. I'm not going to mess about with any of the clipping at the front. I'm just going to turn off the selectability for that reference plane. So if we go and select the object, we can go into to edit mode, and then we can just move this up. And if you can see, we didn't do too bad a job eyeballing that one in. Doesn't need too much of a faff. And then towards the bottom you can see that there's it sort of has it needs a little bit more of a flaring out at the bottom, so I'm just going to use the scale tool just to pull that out a little bit. And then I'm going to select these bottom ones. I'm going to use proportional modification, just turning that on. And then I'm going to use the G key in Z and just dial down how much influence it has on its neighbours. Don't want it to be too bad. That should be about enough. So I'm quite happy with that. That's starting to look good. I'm going to delete those bottom faces. Maybe just scale it out a little bit more as well. We don't actually have a back view, so we're going to have to use a 3/4 view to get most of the detailing, but I think most of that will be picked up by the texturing. So just last few bits, just all I need to do is just delete the bottom parts, and then I can be ready for part 2, where we'll actually build the actual carpet that's on the back of the elephant, and then we'll build the elephant itself. So we're going to build it as a whole piece, so make modelling life easier. So I'm just going to press the T key, change my selection mode to the actual circle selection, go into face mode, number 3, and then just paint select those, and I can delete them quite quick. And that's the top part done. Now on to the second part.